do every Sunday at 10 a.m. during our Sunday services. We have 2 readings, one from the Tao Te Ching. That is our text here at Sanctuary. So we'll always read from a chapter from the Tao. And then we do a rotating reading. We are on our 3rd book since we started Sunday services, and that is The Game of Life and How to Play It by Frances Scovel Shinn. Florence Scovel Shinn, I always mess up her name. So we also have journaling. So now's a good time to grab a journal and a pen if you'd like to participate in the journaling. We have a meditation as well. Following the service, we do a discussion, an integration. It'll be led by Eric today. That will go until noon Eastern, so about an hour and a half after service ends. A little refresher on Sanctuary if you're new. We are a 508c1a faith-based organization. We use psilocybin mushrooms as a sacrament to connect us to divinity. So if you're not yet a member and you, like us, hold mushrooms as a sacrament, you can become a member by visiting sanctuary.org. It's a 5-step process. On our website, sanctuary.org, we tell you more about becoming a member. We also do ask that if you're able to donate, please do consider donating, as we are run on donations. We very much appreciate it. We have a big vision here at Sanctuary, which is all community-based. Hopefully our own property in the future where we can have sacrament services as a group and community, and also events, permaculture, which of course mushrooms is a part of that, and a school, and a lot more is a part of our vision. So thank you again for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and pass things on to Athena and get started with our readings.
Thanks, Courtney. Good morning, everyone. There we go. Welcome, and thank you for joining our Sanctuary community and celebration this Sunday. As we begin our statement of faith, we recognize that this statement does not exhaust the full extent of our faith. We believe that sacred mushrooms are the primary source of personal and divine revelation. We seek counsel from the mushroom to find direction and inspiration in our faith practice. And we believe that all individuals who seek true revelation from divinity can do so. So if you'd like to find that comfortable seat Courtney mentioned, we will begin our service this morning with a 5-minute meditation, where I ask that you just really get grounded in your space. Focus on your breath for a moment. Focus on what brought you here today, our community that's shown up this week, and each other. If you'd like to take a deep breath and exhale. I'd like to come back into the space. Take another deep inhale. Exhale. Find yourself here in this moment. And we'll begin our first reading with the help from Osama.
Good morning, everyone. The reading today is, someone has said that courage contains genius and magic. Face a situation fearlessly, and there is no situation to face. It falls away of its own weight. Thus, the invisible forces are ever working for the one who is always pulling the strings oneself. The one doesn't know it. Owing to the vibratory power of words, whatever one voices, they begin to attract. People who continually speak of disease invariably attract it. People who speak of wealth invariably attract it. After we know the truth, we cannot be too careful of our words. For example, I have a friend who often says on the phone, "Do come to see me and have an old-fashioned chat." This old-fashioned chat means an hour of about 500 to 1,000 destructive words, the principal topics being loss, lack, failure, and sickness. I reply, "No, I thank you. I have had enough old-fashioned chats in my life. They are too expensive, but I will be glad to have a new-fashioned chat and talk about what we want, not what we do not want." There's an old saying that man only dares use his words for three purposes: to heal, bless, or prosper. What one says of others will be said of themselves. And what one wishes for another, one is wishing for themselves. Curses, like chickens, come home to roost. If you wish someone bad luck, you're sure to attract bad luck yourself. If you wish to aid someone to success, you are wishing and aiding yourself to success. The body may be renewed and transformed through the spoken word and clear vision, and disease be completely wiped out of the consciousness. The metaphysicians knows that all disease has a mental correspondence, and in order to heal the body, one must first heal the soul. The soul is the subconscious mind, and it must be saved from wrong thinking. In the 23rd Psalm, we read, "The Lord restoreth my soul." This means that the subconscious mind or soul must be restored with the right ideas. The mystical marriage is the marriage of the soul and the spirit, or the subconscious and the superconscious mind. They must be one. When the subconscious is flooded with the perfect ideas of the superconscious, creator and creation are one. It is safe to say that all sickness and unhappiness come from the violation of the law of love. A new commandment I give unto you, love one another. Sit in the game of life, love or goodwill takes every trick. Every disease is caused by a mind not at ease. I said once in my class, there is no use asking anyone, what is the matter with you? We might just as well say, who is the matter with you? Unforgiveness is the most prolific cause of disease. It will harden arteries or liver and affects the eyesight. In its train are endless ill. I called a woman one day who said she was ill from having eaten a poisoned oyster. I replied, "Oh no, the oyster was harmless. You poisoned the oyster." "What is the matter with you?" she answered. "Oh, about 19 people. She had quarreled with 19 people and had become so inharmonious that she attracted the wrong oyster." Any inharmony on the external indicates there is a mental inharmony as the within, so the without. Our only enemies are within ourselves. Personality is one of the last enemies to be overcome. As the planet is taken its initiation in love, the enlightened person therefore endeavors to perfect themselves instead of their neighbor. Their work is with themselves, to send out goodwill and blessing to everyone. And the marvelous thing is that if one blesses another, the receiver has no power to harm the one who blesses. This is why we are told, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which spitefully use you and prosecute you. Goodwill produces a great aura of protection about the one who sends it, and no weapon that is formed against one such as this shall prosper. In other words, love and goodwill destroy the enemies within oneself, therefore one has no enemies on the external. Have a great day.
Thanks, Osama. Now we'll read a litany of gratitude, our poem that we read every Sunday. I invite you to unmute your mic if you would like. And when I say this verse, we live in all things live in us, I invite you to join me in that. I'll give you a second to unmute. We live by the sun, we feel by the moon, we move by the stars. We live in all things
live in us.
We eat from the earth, we drink from the rain, we breathe of the air. We live in all things live in us. We call to each other, We listen to each other. Our hearts deepen with love and compassion. We live in all
Live in
things.
all things.
All things.
All things live in
within
us.
us.
We depend on the trees and animals. We depend on the earth. Our minds open with wisdom and insight. We live in
We
all
live in
things.
all things.
All things
All
live
things
in us.
live in
Live
us.
in us.
We dedicate our practice to others. We include all forms of life. We celebrate the joy of living and dying. We live in
We
all
live in
things.
all things.
All things.
All things live in us.
We are full of life. We are full of death. We are grateful for all beings and companions. Thank you.
Thanks.
You can mute your mics now. I'll pass it on to Stephen.
Good morning. This is from chapter 27. Good walking leaves no track behind it. Good speech leaves no mark to be picked at. Good calculation makes no use of counting slips. Good shutting makes no use of bolt and bar, and yet nobody can undo it. Good tying makes no use of rope and knot, and yet nobody can untie it. Hence, the sage is always good at saving men, and therefore nobody is abandoned. Always good at saving things, and therefore nothing is wasted. This is called following the guidance of the inner light. Hence, good men are teachers of bad men, while bad men are the charge of good men. Not to revere one's teacher, not to cherish one's charge, is to be on the wrong road, however intelligent one may be. This is an essential tenet of the Tao.
Thank you, Stephen.
Welcome.
So we will begin our reflection. And if you have your journal nearby, if you'd like to just sit and reflect in your own mind, we have a prompt. Expand on these two statements from the readings. So courage contains genius and magic. Personality is one of the last enemies to be overcome. And we'll take 5 minutes to reflect on those items. All right, if you'd like to finish up your thoughts, wherever you're at. And we will close out our service this morning, recognizing we've come together with intentions of service to the land and all its inhabitants. It is in our hearts to go forth into the world with the collective consciousness. We encourage you to stay afterwards for continued fellowship and conversation around our readings today. And for those unable to stay, we thank you for joining us. Just a couple announcements. Keep an eye out for our November newsletter, where we'll have different events coming up. Courtney mentioned our next member settle sacrament hike, November 20th. So you'll see more details on that. Again, we recognize we are a growing community and all feedback is welcome and heard. And we are working towards that big vision Courtney mentioned earlier. So any donations you're able to give, whether it is time or currency, we really and greatly appreciate it. So thank you everyone for joining us, and I will stop the recording